There's respect for what's timely, respect for what's timeless, and respect for what's best for you. There's also a whole lot of super slick molecules for an effortless, irritation-free shave. Respect. That's the difference between shave cream and shave cream with soul. Cremo Shave Cream. The soul of the shave. Look for the Cremo Crown at Target, Walgreens, and CVS.
We're back with more of Jim Norton and Sam Roberts' Best of the Year. Number 14.
Hey, Bill. Wow, Bill's early.
Hey, man.
Good. Hi, buddy. Perfect. Perfect.
Dude, I'm such an idiot. I thought it was going to be winter back here. I got this giant friggin' coat.
That's all right. It was smart. It was a smart bet.
Yeah, it's supposed to be winter.
Looking like I'm in here for Fleet Week, Jim.
Yeah, Bill has a Randall McMurphy hat. Very, very cuckoo's nest. And a nice pea coat.
I thought this was my cooler all-black hat that had the Adidas logo on it. This is just one of those ones you buy at the little fucking newspaper stands.
Yeah, I heart New York. But you can't win, though. If you bring your light jacket, it's going to be colder.
Hey, don't like the weather. Just stick around for a minute. There's like 48 different states that say that.
Who else is going to be on the show? I was literally just talking about the Streets Benefits tonight. I know you're on it. I'm on it. And he said Brendan Byrne. And who else?
P. Corielli.
Oh, good.
Bob Kelly. David Tell. Cypher Sounds is going to DJ.
Oh, wow.
Of course, I'm going blank. Voss is going to host, as always.
Yeah.
He's going to lisp his way through the whole program.
He really is the worst. He insists on hosting every event. He thinks he's like this master of ceremonies. It's like, you're not.
I actually ask him every year because, you know, there's just some people in this business you respect, and there's other people you just feel bad for. And I just kind of feel bad for Rich, and I know he always wanted to host the Oscars, and this is the closest he's ever going to get. So I figured, no, I love, you know, everything I've ever done on those. Always Rich was hosting, all the way back to those fucking
the virus shows. Yeah.
Tours. He was always hosting it, and it's a fucking hard job, and he's great at it. He's a halfway decent golfer. Just in case he's listening, I want to keep complimenting him, then shitting on him.
Yeah, they shit on him. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's hosting. It's going to be great. That's my favorite part. Is when he just shits on everybody.
He really is.
You always get him. You find a unique way to trash him every year. It's one of my favorite things.
It's one of the things that's just been building up all year, and I finally have a chance to say it. There's so many opportunities. Is Joe DeRosa's also on? Sam J. I don't know Sam J.
Sam J. Who's Sam? Probably one of the newer kids.
Okay.
What we try to do is get a mix of, you know, people that started before him, his friends, and then people that were influenced by his comedy. Like when we would get like Michael Che or Hannibal Buress and people like that. So obviously Bo Burnham this year would be like one of those deals. Like to me, those guys are all kids.
Is he on the show?
I believe he is.
Oh, he's not listed here. Jessica Kirsten's on it.
Jessica Kirsten, yep.
Jessica's really funny. It's a good.
Is Bo Burnham not on it? Maybe we asked him. As you can tell, I don't produce the thing. Maureen Tarrant does. The great Maureen Tarrant, she puts the thing together, and then she sends me the list of who's on it like 58 times. So when I come on the radio, I don't sound like an idiot, but I always end up forgetting.
That's what I always forget, too. Yeah. I know you're on it. I know I'm usually on it. I tell. Like, there's 3 or 4 guys I know are just on it.
I figure Maureen knows who's on it, and she told people who's on it, so they're all going to show up. So all I have to do is know where it is and when it starts.
It's at the City Center, 7 o'clock?
The New York City Center at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Doors open at 6, Jim.
Oh, good. Get there nice and early. Buy a little merch. Yeah. There is, I'm guessing there's tickets. I don't even know if there's tickets.
I don't think
check.
So.
Oh, maybe it's sold out.
No, sold out.
Oh, it is sold out. Okay.
Joe, Jesus Christ, I'm half asleep. Joe DeRosa's on the fucking thing.
Yeah, DeRosa is on it.
I was going to say, when you put your fucking name down, that's firepower right there.
All right, well, DeRosa, I haven't seen DeRosa in a while, man. I'm glad he's coming back around. I haven't seen him.
Hey, that thing is.
Joe's a little superstar out there in L.A. Always doing. What the fuck's the name of the show? I'm sorry.
Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul. Yeah.
I only saw him
I went to bed. By the way, I'm on L.A. time. I couldn't get to bed till like 3 a.m, so I'm on like 5 hours sleep here.
Did you? Oh, you didn't fly in yesterday.
Yeah, I did. I came in at like 2. I landed around 2:30.
In the morning?
No, in the afternoon. I had like a 6 a.m. flight.
Okay.
It's fucking brutal. I almost missed the flight. I got there on time. My flight was 24. It was leaving at 6 a.m. And then the gate it told me to go to was also a JetBlue flight to New York, but that one was 1:24, and it said it left at 7 a.m. And I was like, 24, 1:24, it's got to be, maybe they just pushed it back an hour. So I just put my headphones on. And I'm sitting there staring at my gate, and over my shoulder, my flight is boarding. And fortunately, a big mass of people got up and moved and had pissed off look on their face. I was like, oh fuck, did we get canceled? And right as I took it off, it was like, last call.
Oh, you literally just almost
Oh
missed
yeah,
it.
running down the fucking, like a bad Hollywood movie about going to the airport, ran down the jetway. But it was good, man.
How's being a father?
It's fucking great.
You loving it?
Love it. Love it. I was actually supposed to be here for like 4 days, and I cut it shorter just because I had a gig in Santa Barbara, and then I had a 7 a.m. flight, and then it's just like, your kid's only going to be a year old once, and they develop so friggin' fast. Like, my kid couldn't walk 2 weeks ago, now she's walking, so it's just like, you miss major things.
You don't want to be a Harry Chapin song.
No, I don't. No, but it's like, it's awesome. And I know you do give up a lot, but you don't even remember what it is. And your whole new life just becomes, about them. And I don't know. I'm surprised how well I've handled it being a self-centered jackass. I actually enjoy being kind of background. It's fun. Like I was telling somebody last night, like this past Christmas, I went back east for Christmas to meet all the relatives that hadn't met my daughter and everything. It was my favorite Christmas since I believed in Santa Claus.
Really?
Well, I just went back and there was no pressure. I got married. I had a kid. I did it. So it was just like, hey, Bill, how you doing? I'm like, great. Here she is. And everybody's like, oh, my God. And I could go be the antisocial jerk off that I am and just go stand in the corner drinking some eggnog. And it was really, you relate to adults differently, people that you knew forever. And I always hated when somebody who didn't have a kid goes, you don't get it, man. You don't get it till you have. And I was like, fuck you. I get it. It's like having a dog, but it's more intense. But I grudgingly admit that they were right. However, what I learned from that is I'll never do that to someone who doesn't have a kid, trying to act like I'm fucking Einstein, like, right. You can't get your head around it, man. I didn't wear a condom, man. I'm smarter than you or whatever. But it's an awesome experience.
Yeah, so everyone I know who's got one is loving it. I mean, Bobby does. I guess because all the guys
Bobby's
I know,
a great dad.
He is a good dad. He's an awful friend, but he's a really good father.
Awful friend, incredible father.
But it's the guys who wanted kids. It's like, I don't know anybody who accidentally just knocked their wife up. It's like everybody's married, everybody kind of wants kids.
That's the perspective you want. Somebody who accidentally knocked their wife up, so you can see is it like this universal thing,
right?
Or for you, or you like I didn't want to do this to begin with, and what happened here?
Yeah, because everyone I know is like thrilled that they did it. I don't know one guy that
people who knock up somebody or get trapped by a woman, you know what I mean? And which I'm waiting for that hashtag on fucking Twitter. Waiting for it to come around. If we're going to fix the female-male relationship, you kind of got to work on both sides of the candle there, don't you? Even those guys, I find, they're like, man, I fucking hate my fucking bitch girlfriend, but the kid's awesome. The kid is awesome.
Yeah.
They kind of transcends the relationship. Although I'm so glad I'm not in that type of relationship, because I can't imagine loving this kid with all your heart that half looks like somebody that you absolutely fucking hate. That's got to be so weird.
A constant reminder.
Yeah, and they just little mannerisms, like the way the kid eats little hands eating toast. Oh my God, that's that bitch right there. I'm glad I'm not in that situation.
There's been times though where I've been having sex and it's hard to pull out, and I wound up pulling out. Like I'm gonna fucking come inside you, and I wound up pulling out, and some of them are crazy. I'm like, I could have knocked that girl up 8 years ago, and I'd still be tied to her. Like
my favorite part of that story was when your lower jaw jutted out, and you're like, I'm gonna come inside.
Yeah, that was not. It did. It was a very visual moment.
Oh, Jimmy fuckface over there. I enjoyed that.
I'm so happy I didn't do that with someone who I hated, though, because there's certain crazy.
You look like the Birdman at Alcatraz. You shaved head and that crazy look on your face. You should have been like whittling some crazy toy. Yeah, believe me. I wish I did it a lot younger. However, selfishly, I wish I did it. But for my daughter and my wife, it was better that I did it now, because I was ready to do it, as ready as you can be. But I was a fucking lunatic, as you knew, in my 20s and 30s when I met you, when we didn't get off on the right foot for a good fucking 18 years.
We did not like each other for 18 years.
No, but we were always awkward, because I was completely fucking walled off. I had so many relationships like that. For when I came down here at 27, 28 till I was about 40. And I had so many of those. Remember we had that conversation? Just talking about
do we have that? We might have.
I love that it meant something to me and you don't even remember it.
No, because I might be also a little damaged too. So it's like a lot of the weird stuff I might not even notice, because I'm so used to being uncomfortable around people. I'm so used to discomfort that it's never any one particular person. It's always.
I was fucking, Yeah, super, super, super fucking antisocial. But if you're antisocial, you know, and you get around a bunch of comedians, then it starts feeding into like people get like, oh, does this guy think he's better than me? Or is this guy not like me? You build the whole fucking story in your head. Like
Sure.
I have like fucking Zapruder films of different people in, all kinds of conspiracy. Then you finally fucking do a weekend with him. Like, oh yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, he's a touch of Asperger. That's what that was. It had nothing to do with my 9-part miniseries that I built in my head about how you specifically didn't like me. So
It is crazy though how, because all of us are fucked up on some level, and like you forget, like, oh yeah, other people have their own shit too. Like it's not all about me. Like other people have, like you said, Asperger, or they have their own weird little psychosis or insecurity.
No.
Or
I'm all, I have, I got a lot of shit. So, yeah, I don't know what are you gonna do. So I had a kid later on in life. So at least I'm aware of how fucked up I am. So,
you seem like one of the more together guys I know. Like as far as your career and the way you work. And
well, I
you're
like to think
married.
I'm a good actor, Jim. No, I know. I am I am.
But you didn't start to feel more together when you started getting like successful? When you were like, obviously this thing is, you know what I mean?
No, I just, it was more, I had to live for 40, 45 years and make the same mistakes, really from once you move out to that age, where you finally like, okay, how am I contributing to this? What do I need to do differently? And I kind of figured out how my brain worked, and I was able to keep myself out of being just sort of walking around in a mild depression. Like I was never in a chemical one, thank God. I was like in this mild thing, and I kind of learned how to get myself out of it. Like, okay, go to the gym, try a new joke, take a couple days off from comedy, just so I didn't just start the fucking the slow descent into fucking laying on my futon, which there was a point in my mid-50s, my mid-30s, that it was like Groundhog Day, and I had nothing going on, no manager, no fucking agent, and that shit. Maybe I was with the Steinbergs at that point. I can't remember, but I was just every fucking day. I was just like, God, years are going by. What the fuck am I doing?
Do you find taking a day or two off helps you a little bit? Like just kind of like just feel normal again?
Yeah, I find when I'm getting overwhelmed in this business is like, I finally realized that, it meant I needed a vacation. And that usually can just be like 2 days, but like, it's funny because, when you work for yourself, you can decide when you want to work, and you think it's going to be, this is going to be fucking great. I'll work 3 days a week, like the Jetsons used to always say we were going to do in the future. And then you actually end up working way more. And the next thing you know, you'll kind of look at your calendar or whatever and be like, dude, I haven't had a fucking like day off, just nothing to do, in like months. And that's the type of shit that then makes me fucking, I'm on edge. I start fighting with my wife, and I start feeling those feelings like, oh my God, fucking life sucks, blah, 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 as I'm fucking doing a great gig.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, what is wrong with me that I'm doing this gig and I'm thinking that shit? But, I have a fucked up brain. So I've kind of learned to just sort of see that. It's like, oh, this isn't this. This just means take a couple days off, stupid.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If you would have told 18-year-old me that I'd complain about the things I complain about today, I literally would have broken a glass in my face. That I'm complaining about going to gigs, or I'm mad I got to fly to a gig. Like, you fucking shut up. Like, this is what you dreamed of, and you got it, and but it's weird. Like, once life is what it is, you forget how much you wanted it, and it just becomes comfortable, and you complain about like any other job.
Yeah. That's like, I remember flipping out about your new elevators in this fucking building. And it's just like, I used to know how to get on an elevator. You just push the fucking button, and now that I got to push what floor I'm going to be in. And like today, I finally got in there going like, this really is more efficient.
Yeah.
That they figure out like a cluster of people, what floors they're going on to, so you don't have to catch every floor on the way up. So I do that a lot. I have a lot of fucking my own little wars with technology and shit. And then I realize that, some of it is making my life easier.
You still flying?
Yeah. A lot.
You love it?
Love it. Fucking love it. And I actually am less afraid when I'm doing that than I am now driving on. Now when I drive on a highway, I'm fucking terrified. Because when you're up there's nobody near you. And everybody's talking, and you know where everybody is, basically. Unless somebody's a fucking asshole and they're not talking, which is always exciting. But I can't tell you the amount of times after I landed and I got in my car and then I just immediately see some fucking accident. I saw one time I landed. I think I told this story. I fucking landed. Had a great flight. Radio calls were good and everything. And I got out and I got in my car and I didn't even get out of the parking lot. And this fucking jerk off on the other side of the street, this guy probably like 50 years old on a scooter, came pulling out and he went too fast and didn't lean enough. And his centrifugal force took him and he hit the medium strip. He high-sided, launched him and the fucking scooter onto my side. It was like 2 lanes on my side. Fucking rolled like a log and slid on his face for the last 30 fucking feet, right? So fortunately, there wasn't a bunch of cars coming, so I stopped and I was the first guy to get to him. And he was laying on his back like not even conscious, just going like, spitting teeth out.
Oh, he got fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, he was all right. I mean, like road rash and shit. I flew back from San Francisco with Joe Bartnick, and we were in a car, an Uber on the way home, and this fucking guy in the left lane, nobody near him, just hit the medium strip and started spinning. Looked like an episode of Chips from way back in the day. And then spun across 4 lanes. Everybody slowed down. It was like that guy was on his phone. No way. He just fucking drove into, like he just was driving. He just sort of drifted. And Bartnick was going, whoa, whoa, whoa. And right as I looked up, I just saw this guy spinning like a top across 4 fucking lanes. And, yeah, ever since I started flying, when I get on the highway, I feel like I'm flying in formation. It's like I'm in the fucking
Blue Angels?
Yeah, the misfit Blue Angels, I was going to say, except nobody's talking to anybody and nobody knows what anybody's going to do. People passing you on the right doing like 90. It like really freaks me out.
Well, you look at the cars are now going to be able to communicate with each other. Now they're all going to have these, when they have the self-driving cars, every car will know what the other one's going to do. It's probably going to be
tell me how that's going to work, considering the amount of times my laptop crashes. And so now we're all doing 80 and there's a glitch in the system. The Houston, we have a problem moment. Okay, and you're napping, going, oh, it's going to be great. I got a gig up in Albany. I'm going to sleep the whole fucking way. You know?
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
That's a good point.
There won't be any more like...
Go over Niagara Falls fucking 6 hours later because you didn't set your alarm.
There's no more fender benders. It'll just be like colossal, explosive death accidents.
And this is what's hilarious about insurance companies. Somehow it'll be your fault.
Of course.
Because I'm wondering, how does insurance work at that point where if you know, in a perfect world, all of those cars work, there should be no accidents. So then, like, your coverage should be a joke. It should be like $40 a year. Somehow it'll still be the same amount of money. And if that car gets into an accident, your rates are going to go up. You can't sue the car company. I bet they're going to make you sign something like, you know, when they falsely imprison somebody?
Sure.
And then they go, all right, well, you got to sign this thing that you can't sue the state. That's their new thing, and then we'll let you out, even though we both know you're completely fucking innocent. I feel like there's going to be some of that legal work.
By the way, isn't that disgusting? Like, if you sign a fucking prenup...
Who's this fucking teen idol from the boy band you got over here?
That's exactly who he is.
Yeah.
He says, I can't be.
Is this one of the Osmonds?
If you sign a prenup under duress, it can be overridden. Like, if you sign a prenuptial agreement, like, with a week before you get married, that's contestable
Any
in court.
contract, if it's under duress.
Is there any angle those cunts can't find?
Well, no, I mean, but how come that's not a plea to get out of jail when you sign away your right to not sue?
Because you know why? Because you're fighting an entire state that has the money to keep tying it up, where you as the individual are dealing with your now, you know, bitch ex-wife coming at you. And you're going to cave. She's just going to wear you down, you know, and your lawyer will finally just be like, look, man, I can tell this is breaking you. I mean, I think you just give it money. I'll get you a beer or something. You're like, all right, fuck it. You end up signing the thing.
Oh, but you're looking at it from the angle of the prenup should be good no matter when you sign it, which I kind of agree.
Yeah.
You sign it, you signed it.
Oh, yeah. That's that all this fucking shit where they keep acting like women have no power in society is one of the it really shows how much smarter women are than men. I mean, the fact that they're acting like they don't have any power. Every fucking guy I know, if he's in a relationship, she's running it. She's running it.
Yeah.
I don't ever see like a woman ever being like, okay, I just got to make sure my husband says this is okay. But every fucking guy I know does that.
And by the way, if a woman does say that, people go, what? Like it's an abusive relationship.
Is he beating you? Yeah.
But I got to check with my wife. Yeah, you got to do that.
You know what's hilarious? I actually gave up arguing with my wife for Lent, like as a joke. As a joke, right? And she was all excited, and now I don't think she's enjoying it because the fact that I'm not getting upset anymore, now she doesn't know what I'm thinking, and I took away a lot of her cat and mouse games.
Right. So how did you do that? What do you do now when you get mad?
Huh?
When you get mad, what do you do?
You just bottle it up?
I just say, because now it's a joke, it's a bit. So, it probably would have died within 3 days, but the fact that I know that it's bothering her, it's like being at the table. Like, oh, he's got no comeback. Pile on, right? So, no, she's a total good sport about it, but like, it's been like an interesting experiment to do that. Like, I recommend that to any guy out here, to actually give up arguing with your wife and start arguing with them, and it freaks them out.
Who starts most of them? Is it you or her, or is it like 50-50?
I probably start like 70% of them, but the 30% that she starts is just like, I always wish we had like an above ground pool that I could just throw her in sometimes. She wouldn't get hurt, and I get a feeling of satisfaction. But just there, I don't know. I don't fucking know. You know what's funny? One time she actually suggested that we go to couples therapy. It's like, I'm not fucking doing that. Like, that is like the beginning of the end of your relationship, because now you're with this person, and it's like, if you're all better, they stop making money.
Right.
And then also, I think subconsciously they know it was the woman's idea, so they got to do the Dr. Phil thing. Like, Dr. Phil knows his audience is women, so like he's always going to the guy, you need to stop Burr, and all the women, he knows where his bread's buttered. So that's what I said. I'm not going to that.
I went to couples
I'm
therapy.
not going to. I don't need another person telling me, agreeing with you that I'm out of my fucking mind.
Voss had Voss, you hear Voss's joke?
No.
About my wife wanted to go to couples therapy, so now I'm spending $150 to have two women call me an asshole.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly what it is.
It's exactly what we went to couples therapy once for one session, and it wasn't. I didn't think it was that bad because the woman was like kind of siding with me. There was the couples therapist.
Oh my God, that's a genius.
But
once again, I'm wrong. I built this whole fucking thing in my head.
No, but then my wife was like, "What the fuck is she talking about?" She was taking your side the whole. Like, it just created more fights because whichever
Were you
side
laughing?
you take. Yeah, I thought it was funny. I was like, "So we're not going back," because I didn't want to go to begin with. So it's like we're just fighting more from doing this. We're not going back.
That was like one of those wire to wires. You had the lead at the beginning of the game. You scored the first bucket, and you just took the thing the whole way. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
enjoy that, man. That's a rarity.
It was amazing for the moment, and then it was like we didn't have to do it.
Are you a good apologizer?
Yeah.
Like if you fight, if you're like, I was a dick, I'm going to say I'm sorry.
Absolutely. I like all of this shit you're asking me. You have to ask my wife. I can't be. I am a good apologizer.
Was that what you do now?
I am easy to live with.
Now that you're not, when you're not arguing, because she's going to want you to. Well, then will you admit you're wrong? Well, then you admit this. Do you admit that you're wrong just quickly and just be done with it, or do you just not have the conversation?
No, I just admit when I'm wrong. When I agree with her that I'm wrong.
So
there's two things. If you never admit that you're wrong,
right,
then she's going to just start resenting you. If you just start foaming up the mouth about everything. And then the other side is if you just always go, yeah, you're right, they're going to get bored and they're going to start banging somebody else.
That's right.
They need that whole Sex in the City arc. They need the drama.
But if you're not arguing now for Lent, how do you get out of those conversations? If you're not going to admit that you're wrong because you're not wrong, but you're not going to have the argument because it's Lent.
No, if I was wrong, I would just say that I'm wrong. But like if she wants to argue, I just say, well, I can't argue with you because I gave up this up for Lent and it's driving her nuts. She should just be like, look, we don't have to argue. We can debate this. Because I saw this woman, like, we went to this fucking mall, right? One of these LA malls, like right in Hollywood. So everybody looked like Instagram ready. It was like ridiculous. Dude, the amount of titties that were basically out. I mean, not even side titty, like underneath titty too. Yeah. It was fucking ridiculous. And she's telling me not to look. I'm like, how do I not look at that? Sure. So this woman came by and dude, she was like smoking hot, high heels, tight pants, just smoking hot and pushing a fucking baby in a carriage. And I made the mistake going like, Jesus Christ. I go, that's not a mom. Right. And she just goes, why? Why isn't that a mom? And I always joke on my podcast, this isn't how my wife talks. This is just how I hear it in my head. So she says, why? Why isn't that a mom? And I was just like, oh, fuck. And I was just like, hey, I don't want to argue with you or whatever. I gave it up and she goes, no, we can have like a debate about it. So I didn't tell her all the, what I was. No, I just think like, even like the male version of that before some fucking hashtag starts about this. Like if I see a guy with like his fucking, Clorox bleached teeth, fake tan, and fucking what do they call it? Botox face, like Bruce Jenner, how his face used to look before he became king. Yeah, that's one of those things. I mean, I'm probably an asshole, but I just look at it. If he has kids, I'm like, yeah, that guy is too self-involved to be a good dad. You know?
Yeah.
There's a certain level of tired you're supposed to look if you're involved with your kids. And, or maybe I'm just a troll-looking jackass and I was jealous of her on some level. I have no idea. So, anyway, that was something that would have been a fight.
Right.
And probably would have been more ammunition for her to bring up later. And I just like, nah, I don't. You're right. You're right. I shouldn't have said that. You're right. You're right. And she's just like,
that is unsatisfying for the other person.
So
they don't get that pint of blood. Sometimes you want your pint of blood and you're not getting it because the other person just said sorry. You're like, fuck.
No, but my wife has a fucking unbelievable sense of humor. So she's finding the humor in it too. Because I'm doing all of that shit. Like, sweetie, I don't want to talk to you. And, like, caress, like, with the back of my hand, I'll go down the side of her face, just acting like a complete creepy douche. So it's like, that's the thing. The reason, other than the fact that my wife is a saint, that she puts up with me, but she has a fucking unbelievable sense of humor. Like that story I told you about almost missing the flight. Like, I wrote her a whole email about it because I didn't want to wake her up with the text. Sure. And I wrote it in all, like, G. Willikers speak. So you can imagine how astonished I was when I discovered like all of that. And like, she was like, and she just loves wordplay and all that. So she was like, she was laughing so hard. Our daughter my little kid was laughing at my wife laughing. So I got a big thrill that I was made both of them laugh when I wasn't there. Made me feel less like a piece of shit that I was on the road, even though this is what I do for a living. So I got to be out here,
Yeah, there's worse jobs than the living. At least you can bring her with you if you want to. You pick a place you want to go, book a gig. Go away for a week?
That's what I figure I will do that. I'm trying to figure out how that works, but I'll figure out how to do that. Like, I think I'll do more like, play a smaller place and do more shows. Right. And then just sort of make I don't know, like a family trip out of it. If it's a cool place. I'm not going to drag them to some godforsaken fucking city. But, if I go to a cool place.
Yeah, go someplace you want to go. It's nice, and just do fucking 3 or 4 nights. And why am I telling you? You understand. Just relax. I went to England. You got me to go to England. I mean, I'm crediting every interview I do. I credit you.
Dude, I love getting those texts. All these texts, all of a sudden, Jimmy the World Traveler.
Yeah, he's everywhere. This year, he's gone to, it's not just England. You went all over Europe.
I went all over Europe, early and starting at the end of May. And I had great gigs. I mean, I fucking loved it.
You're a changed man. You have a better vibe. You seem more relaxed.
I am.
You're not angst or I'm awful. You haven't said that once. I've been here for almost. Jesus, it's only been a half an hour. The show's dragging.
No, I feel better than I have. I've been going to a lot of meetings. It's just I feel better than I have in probably 15 years. I feel healthier.
That's
mentally.
good. You look happy.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel great, which is nice.
How much are your listeners not enjoying this part of it? You look great, Jim. You look happy.
You know what? They probably don't like that a lot, but they get tired of the complaining too. Like, no matter what you do, if you do it more than 2 days in a row, they're like, fucking change. They get bored.
Right. Yeah.
So, I've been miserable for so long that.
And then they offer their constructive criticism.
Yeah,
with
normally
very,
critiques
with gentle language. On Twitter.
It's usually a picture of a belt in a closet. you live in this and use this to hang yourself.
Dude, my favorite one I got this week was somebody quoted something that I just was riffing on the podcast, and somebody wrote me this tweet about how I was better than that joke. I can't believe that made it into your act. Go back to the Notebook or something like that. I want to be like, it was a fucking random line from the podcast, but that's why I get a kick out of Donald Trump. Like, the fact that, like, I could walk away from a fucking bad tweet and he can't, and he's actually has his finger on the button. It's like, dude, you're acting like a 7th grade girl here. What are you doing? Shake it off.
His Twitter, his communication is not great. Like, his Twitter is not good, and I wish he would just.
That's got to be the biggest understatement.
Yeah,
the fucking president is tweeting.
I know.
Yeah, do you understand? 2 leaders of countries argued about who had a bigger red phone or a button. I mean, that was like a sketch.
Yeah.
That was like, like when feminists go like, oh, and they have like their missiles, these dick-shaped things and blah, blah, blah. And I'm always thinking like, well, there is physics and aerodynamics and all that involved. Like, if you have it shaped like a twat, I don't think it's going to make it to another country unless you frisbee it, right? And even then that gap's going to fucking be a lot of drag. But they were literally, I was like, hey, I think those feminists are right on this one. Yeah. They got him on that one. So,
I mean, just the idea that he's tweeting at all, like, just that he's doing it.
And how quickly we got used to it, and it just became totally, like, acceptable that this guy was going to do stuff like that. This is going to be the longest this is just going to be a long 4, if not 8 years.
Then you wonder what people were they always doing that, and now we're just seeing every ugly.
What do you mean?
Childish aspect of it. World leaders, were they always kind of thinking that way? Were they always kind of saying that stuff in behind the scenes through diplomatic means? But that was the basic thing of it. My button's bigger.
Yeah,
that really is all it comes down to. We get to push around people because our fucking button is bigger. He just said I have a bigger button. He said it like you said, 7th grade terms.
It's that like CEO energy. You know that like bigger dick ego stuff that every CEO ever has had that. Anytime you meet with an executive or anything, they had that thing where there's that sort of competitive alpha thing about them. Like, of course,
there's nothing wrong with that as long as that energy is focused in a good way.
Right. Yeah.
Which in business, it usually isn't. It usually ends up with you and just pour it in the drinking water. We need profits.
No, I'm not good in those moments. I usually bow my head and I fucking slink in full beta mode.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. They probably
then lash out at somebody else later on the day who had nothing to do with that.
Absolutely.
I've been there. Oh, sure, I've been there.
It's humiliating.
But yes, I think that's what this is, except it's done through Twitter and not the most eloquent tweets in the world.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. It's his weak spot.
Twitter is?
Yeah, it's communication.
Yeah.
It's not good.
I have a whole theory on how he got in. I think the Republicans just stepped in shit with him. I think that both sides wanted change, and I think Bernie represented change and Trump represented change, and the Democrats picked Hillary, which I totally get, going like, this guy's a lunatic, let's go with the tried and true, and that's not what people wanted. And I think accidentally the Republicans were offering change. And that's how that dude ended up. It was like a fucking blindfold half-court shot. And I think everybody fucking misread it. And this whole thing that they're like, oh, Trump got the racist vote and all that. I don't believe in that either, because they could have voted against a black president 2 elections in a row and Obama won. So
right,
the racist vote every fucking election. So I just think that people bought into his 2x4 rhetoric. I love that. I'm going to drain the swamp. Like all the politicians were going to sit there. Well, I guess it's over. I guess we all got to just fucking admit to everything that we did.
The boss says we gotta, we gotta.
No, all they do is they rope a dope when somebody like that comes in. They just lean on the ropes and they just ride going because it's finite the amount of time he's going to be in there. I remember when Al Gore was trying to get like an electric car. Like he goes. You know, we demand that you make a car that gets 100 miles a gallon, fucking blah, 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 by the end. They just fucking, we're still working on it.
Yeah.
Still working on it. We don't quite have it.
About halfway, though.
Here's a prototype, and he gets to walk around with his hands in his pocket, nodding. Things are getting done. 6 weeks before he leaves. Hey, what's going on with it? It's not quite done, man, but we'll definitely get it done with this next guy. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. That's right. They rope it up. It's a great way to put it.
Yeah, that's all they're gonna. Whatever he wants to do, as far as I'm not saying he won't get shit done. I'm just saying as far as like his whole draining the swamp thing.
Right, changing the whole system.
Yeah, like I don't think anything ever brought both parties more together than him saying I'm going to drain the swamp, and then they're all like, okay, everybody, let's lock arms and let's not let him do any. Like I don't know exactly how you're going to do that.
I think he scares people too because he's the type that calls people out publicly in a way that no one on that level ever called. It's embarrassing.
I'm so surprised at how little teeth the press had when he was running. Like, they got so used to the politicians cowering on a tough question, and he would just answer it, and a lot of times admit to faults, and then they had no follow-up because they'd never been there.
Right.
Like, my favorite one was when they said, when it's like, you've said this about women, you've said that about, and it's a woman asking, and you're literally watching the debate going like, oh, fuck, here comes a moment. You said this, he goes, I said all of that about Rosie O'Donnell. Gets a huge laugh, gets rid of the tension, and then all the person has like, well, you said that about other women too. That was all they had, and then he goes, hey, you're probably right.
But you know what?
And then that was it. And I remember I was sitting there blowing my mind. I was like, that's all you got?
Because he's the man in a relationship that won't argue.
Maybe that's what it is.
So the press is trying to hit him, and he's like, no, I'm not going to have the argument. Like, yeah, whatever. And then he moves on to something else.
I mean, literally what she was trying to get him to say is you have issues with women. He got a laugh, and then he admitted that she was right. And then what was she going to say? Well, you should stop doing that.
Yeah,
like,
there's nowhere to go.
There was nowhere to go. And then I was just like, I don't know if we'll ever see another one like him, but I definitely think that debates changed. Like he's definitely a game changer. I mean, if I was in political science, whatever that major is, I would be studying that game film, going, what the fuck?
He really understands how to, like even Oprah, coming people. She's such a loved person, and now that she's not going to run.
She's a degenerate. He loves that word. No. I'm saying that's what he does.
Oh, yeah.
She's a degenerate.
What do they call her? Insecure Oprah. He has this great way of pegging people, and for some reason it sticks. Whatever he says about somebody seems to stick, whether it's true or not. There's something so childish about putting those names on people.
Politics is childish, and then everybody on the right. Well, like one person said liberal snowflake. Now everybody says liberal snowflake as if it's like the new joke and nobody's ever heard it, you know?
What about cuck?
Huh?
Cuck. Everybody says cuck now. Like
everybody says
I've
that.
been saying that for fucking decades.
You're the guy who
I've
brought
been
that
raving
in,
about cuckolding.
Yeah, words. Vetted. I hate that word. You got to make sure you vet somebody.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden we're like these 20-year law enforcement vets. We can have somebody in the room, you know what I mean, and judge their body language.
It's your responsibility to vet these people. Like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah, what the fuck does that
It
even
started
mean?
with Sarah Palin. That was when everyone started talking about it because they're like, she wasn't properly vetted.
Right.
That was when everyone started. People knew the word, but that was when everyone started using it after Palin, and it was such a bad choice. Everyone was like, oh, she wasn't vetted properly. Like, shut up.
Yeah, I don't think anybody even realized like the amount of effort that goes into picking these candidates before like Palin comes up and they're like, well, shouldn't there be? Well, normally they vet these candidates. Oh, that's what they didn't do. You need to vet these people.
I have to think, dude, because I even saw an interview again recently, and once again, she did not come off even remotely like this person holds public office. It's just, I mean, I can go with like, okay, you're a little nervous in public, you stammer, and it was just like she was just talking in circles.
Who, Hillary?
No.
Palin.
But
Yeah.
I get, but it's also showbiz, and you know. I don't know. She's got that hot thing. She's got the glasses and stuff. I was in.
Yeah.
I was in for a second until she talked, and I was just like, all right.
People like her, though.
Well, they
like,
also
people who like her like her.
Yeah,
I never quite understood it, but people who like her really like her. I guess she represents something they think.
I think it's back to what you were talking about the change, because even then they thought that the Republicans wanted the same change as the Democrats. They were like, if we can get a woman in there, we'll get those people that want a woman.
They fucked up on
this
that one.
time. They were like, wait, no, they just wanted a total asshole. Like, people will vote for an asshole.
And then this is kind of old shit, but then like Hillary had that awful combination. She had like Mike Dukakis's charisma and was as comfortable in her own skin as Al Gore. Like that smile, that crazy fucking smile. It's just like, what is going on between your ears when you do that? I can hear your speech coach going, you got to smile more. She's fucking crazy. Yeah, and the cadence, the way she would speak,
So bad.
and I don't know. Trump was just like I fucking hated the guy, but he was so fucking funny. He was compelling. It's unbelievable.
It's fun to watch.
I like when he was sitting there going like, when he kept interrupting, they told him to not interrupt, and then he just goes. And he goes to the panel as Hillary's trying to answer. He goes, "Oh, I get it. 3 against 1." And it was just like he totally painted himself as a victim. He ignored all the fucking rules, and it was just like, and they had nothing. There was these are the rules of the debate, and then he would break all of them, and nobody ever broke them. So there was no. What was somebody going to do? Go in and put him in a sleeper hold? Like, how were you going to stop him? And he just like, everybody thought it was like like they were in a cell, and it was just like a piece of tape on the floor, and he just like stepped over it, and they were like, oh shit, I didn't know.
You could do that?
I didn't know someone was going to do that.
You remember the one that was like the town hall when like Hillary was like standing up and like, you know, robotically walking around and talking to people, and he just started following her. So right over her shoulder, he was just like looming there. So every shot of Hillary is just Donald right over her shoulder.
Oh my god, I gotta watch it. That is so fucking weird.
It's amazing.
Didn't she make a remark a year later about how she was creeped out by him being behind her like that? She said something about how he creeped her out.
Yeah, she said something about it.
I'm getting creeped out listening to that.
Yeah, it was great.
But what ends up happening is nobody's listening to a word that she's saying, and they're just looking at it. Like the whole story is now him. Look at it. He followed her. You can see in that photo right there. He followed her and would just be right over her shoulder everywhere she went.
Oh my, yeah, he
Where
he was stealing focus.
You're supposed to sit. You're supposed to sit in the chair while the other person talks.
All right, here's the thing. I agree with you. It's great comedically. It wasn't great that he won. I couldn't stand either one of them. And there was, I thought on the Republican Democrat side, there was a number of people that, were just way more like just grounded in just a basic intellectual and human level than like, I mean, that was I think the joke I was doing in my act at the time, it was like 2 a.m. and at a bar, and you had to like pick someone to go home with. Like, that's what that election felt like. So, I don't know how the fuck we're talking about this. It's long since done. So he's in, so we got to deal with it.
Yeah, it is what it is. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
I think, I hope.
We'll get through it.
Yeah.
We'll be all right.
I know I'm happier.
Yeah, just in
person,
general.
whatever happens.
It's really interesting because like now, the Democratic politicians are going around being like, well, I know everybody says such good things about these tax cuts, but it's pennies. People don't. But even the people that hate Trump are like, there's $50 extra in my paycheck. Like, I kind of like that he's doing this.
Yeah, there's some sort of fucking loophole in there where in the end, then for the people who are poor, it goes away in like a year or two, but it
doesn't go away for the rich people?
Of course not. He's basically became president so he can put a golf course anywhere he wants. Like, I don't know. But I think, I don't know.
Have you started doing any of that stuff? Like, because you make good money. Have you had any, like, wow, I never thought I'd be doing this in my life? Like, where you're doing stuff that, like, people with money do, or have you remained exactly the same?
No, I'm just getting the shit kicked out of me in taxes. Like, just fucking Elvis taxes because, I don't get that thing, buy a house and then stay in debt because it's a good tax write-off. And it's like, all right, so I get this, level of a tax write-off, but I'm paying even more in interest. So all I'm really doing is just babysitting this property for the bank. The end of my life, I can't give it to my kid because they're going to totally get crushed in taxes. So I just buy something that I can totally afford and I pay it off. And because the dream is, well, I'm going to pay it off and then I can fucking relax. And then what happens is every quarter they come in and they just fucking tip you upside down and shake it out of you. So it's this weird thing when you have the freedom to not play the game, but through like fees and penalties, they're going to guide your money back onto the crap table. And, that's kind of what I'm realizing. So, yeah, no, I'm a frugal son of a bitch, dude. Dude. I saw, you know the guys. I saw guys get deals and go out and buy like fucking fur coats and gold cars and shit.
I love that car.
I love that car. What did I say? Take it back, you motherfucker!
Yeah.
Right? I love when Carbone goes, "Shut the fuck up!" When he
wants to argue his case.
Yeah. He blames his wife for being a fucking moron. Yeah, so I've always had I get the whole that I figure like where I'm at, how's it going to get better than this? So I figure this is the height of me earning, and I know what the low point felt like, and eventually you're going to go back to that. I just don't see myself 65, 70 years old, and college kids are going to be like, what does this old man have to say about the robot that I own or whatever? Like, eventually I'm going to be doing like matinee gigs in the afternoon and shit. So like, I want to have a house that's paid off.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of fucking rental properties. I just want to live a little life. And I am, I've been more than happy with whatever this business gave me years ago. So anything after that has been great. All I ever wanted to do was just be a comedian that could sell tickets. And I was talking to somebody about that last night, like the level of just how awesome that is. Like basically at this point, anywhere my wife wants to go on vacation in the continental United States, I'll be like, all right, let's plan that. I'll book a gig there one night.
Right.
I'll actually make money on the vacation to pay for the plane tickets and all of that. And then I can totally chill out. And my idea of working on the vacation is to do my dream job.
Right.
So I go up there and act like a fucking idiot and have a great time. And my wife is totally cool. I always do that every time when we go on vacation. I have one night, like, okay, I'm going to go pay for the vacation. Go up and act like a fucking jerk off for an hour, have the best time, and then I get drunk for the rest of the week.
Yeah, and everything is paid for.
Yeah. So That's when it goes back to what you were talking earlier. Like, how can I ever be in a bad mood? It's because I'm a human being and I'm a selfish cunt and I have a bunch of flaws. And you know, you don't step back. You're living your life with your fucking hand right in your face thinking, I don't know. So like, dude, like this week when I went to upload my podcast to Dropbox and it wasn't working. And dude, if you want to see something funny, watch me flip out when my kid is sleeping. Because I can't yell and just listen to, dude, I literally grabbed my computer and I was just like, fucking God. Like walking around my fucking kitchen and just doing that, dude. Gritted teeth, like your fuckface you showed me this earlier, shaking the shit out of this fucking computer. And of course, it turned out I was just on the wrong page and there was nothing wrong with Dropbox. And then my wife's looking at me and then I totally uploaded it and had no problem. And then I had to play it off like I figured something out.
Oh, there it is. I got what was wrong with it.
If I was a more evolved human being, I would have said in that moment, honey, you know what? There was actually nothing wrong with it. This was my fault. And once again,
no, but you never
failed.
Well, there's no satisfaction in that. There's no satisfaction like, oh, it's just, you know, it's like you want some kind of victory.
I think it is for your wife. It gives them hope that,
I mean, for her, I mean, for
they
you
can actually enjoy.
For me, there's no satisfaction. Like, if the computer thing doesn't work, and then all of a sudden I realize, oh, I was just on the wrong page. There's no win for me there. I'm just like, oh, I'm as big a fucking asshole as I thought I was.
They should make a laptop, right, for in those moments that you can break, but you can then put back together that doesn't work. Because I've always wanted to, like, you know, you always think it's such grabbing somebody by the hair and snapping their head off to pushing it backwards. That's what I want to do to the laptop. Like, just want to fucking, the amount of times I've grabbed my phone and started to, like, fucking break it in half, but I always stop. I at least have enough control of my temper to be like, this is immediately going to add, like, an absolute shit show for the next 3 days of your life if you do this. So I start to do it and then I kind of fucking set it down.
Yeah, just relax, yes.
You don't have a room in the house where you can get loudly upset?
No,
like where you can just yell at electronics?
What kind of lifestyle is this guy living? I have my angry room. That guy who invented Charlie's Angels, he had a room in his house just for wrapping gifts. Did you ever see that?
No.
What was that guy's name? He has the famous daughter. She was on
Aaron Spelling?
Yes.
Yeah.
He had this giant, like, one of these fucking houses. You pull it up on the internet if you can. It fucking has it had 36 bedrooms. And I was one of those just oddly things that struck me so funny. Like, this guy had to buy 36 beds. You know what I mean?
Wow. They're all furnished. Like
the ultimate nightmare. Let me look at that fucking thing. So then what's funny is that thing, you know, as they say, that's the classic white elephant. Like that is like an over $100 million house. So now when you go to sell that thing, basically 1% of 1% of the people in the world can actually afford it, and you have to hope that they're in the market and they like what you've done with your 36 bedrooms.
Right, I have 35 friends.
Wow.
Yeah.
That want to sleep over. I think I saw that on like a True Hollywood Story or something, because now that you say the gift wrap room, for some reason in my head, I feel like I knew that Aaron Spelling had just a room for wrapping gifts.
Dude, I would literally slowly go insane if I lived in that place.
It looks
I already
like the
just
Overlook.
pictured myself running naked down the halls like, yeah!
A pair of socks just sliding in.
I would just not knowing where my wife was, just yelling her name, trying to find her. Where the fuck is my phone? Can you imagine losing your phone? Like, and I know this is like hacky shit here, but just like all of that stuff.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I guess if you don't, because when you have a family, like, you got to spend time with your family. Like, that's what, when we moved out of our 1-bedroom apartment into a house, I was like, we're still going to be in the same room all the time because you don't want to be that antisocial person, you know? So I don't know what you would do to keep from falling apart, because I feel like if I had a 36-bedroom house, it would be a total waste of money to just spend it all in one room. Like, if my wife and I were in the same room, I'd be like, no, I got to go to the west wing of the house.
I think that house would actually end my relationship with my wife.
Yeah.
We would begin to live completely separate lives.
Right.
Because she, in a lot of ways, you know, the overlap, she has some of my behavioral things. And sometimes I think it's because I'm difficult to live with, but then other times I'm thinking like, no, you're a little, you know, you got your independent streak too. So, which is also what I really like about her. So
you get to like her bedroom or that spot of the house that she's in control of. And you're like, oh, I didn't know you did this to the wallpaper. And she'd be like, yeah, that was a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
And you'd realize, like, we're not connected at all anymore. We're just
Dude,
living.
I really think you could sneak into that house and just dressed up as like a butler or some shit, and like he'd be like, you know,
He wouldn't
not
know. There.
He would not just walk by him in the house. Hello, sir. And just keep just nod and give him his respect, and then go down and steal some sort of chalice, whatever the fuck he has. But then they finally sold it, and like some super rich Russian guy bought it for his daughter.
Oh, an oligarch.
Yeah.
Those Russian oligarchs, yeah, they're buying up property all over the fucking country.
Yeah, so
Really?
he bought up that big fucking thing for his daughter, and this just strikes me as fucking hilarious. Like, if you go to date her, like, how do you top that? Well, my dad bought me this. You want to go to the movies? Want to go see Black Panther?
Is he alive, Aaron Spelling?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't think
No,
he
he
is.
died.
Did you see Black Panther?
Yes, I did.
How was it?
It was good.
It was.
It was good. I'm not a big superhero movie guy, but it was definitely good.
I'll see it on when it comes on.
Oh, it'll be on fucking Netflix in probably 2 weeks.
I don't go to. When is? But someone's asking, when is season 3 F is for Family?
Later on this year.
Do they tell you in
Probably-
advance, like how much notice do they give you
About what?
when it's coming out?
It's sort of vague. Like we just sort of kind of can guess, like October, November, or something
Okay.
like that. Animation takes a long time.
It does, yes.
But Netflix is awesome. As far as like, I don't know, they give really good notes. Everybody has different relationships with people, but I've always like, you want to be that comedian, like, I'm the artist, man. Don't tell me how to do this, and like they'll send me shit over, like, yeah, it's a good fucking note. I didn't see that. That was a really good note.
Having somebody make sense with a note is helpful.
Well, they were the ones that said to serialize it, to do like making, one leads into another.
Right.
And I was like, nah, I want to do standalone episodes. What's up with that, right? And then the second we started writing it, I was like, oh, this is awesome. So that's the most important note and the best note out of a lot of good ones that they've given us. They definitely, there's a reason why they're dominating the world right now. They're really good at what my last special that came out, I remember they asked, we got to have a meeting on how to promote the special, right? I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, what the it's a special. I'll fucking go on talk shows and throw some billboards up. Dude, I went in there and they basically showed me their algorithms and stuff of how they did it. I walked out of there like what? Is this what it like when you become president and you get debriefed and you walk out of there with that look on your face like, Jesus Christ, I didn't know, like that.
So you mean like where they place things on the Netflix
Like,
page?
I didn't realize, like, when you sit down, if we both watch Netflix, it's all based on what you watched and what I watched. So my home screen's going to be different than yours.
Right.
And, so I can't, dude, I was trying to get my head, it was like calculus, but it made sense as they were explaining it. That, as I was watching, I was like, Jesus Christ, this is unbelievable.
That's why data is 100%. It probably already is going to be the most valuable commodity to any of these companies. Data is what they make all their bones on.
But this is the thing. That's all it is. But if you can't read the tea leaves,
Right.
like that's all. I mean, information has always been king. But if you don't know how to apply it,
Right.
If you look at a lot of decisions I've made in my life. I've had access to a lot of information in my life.
It's the application that's been the problem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anybody can watch game film, but can you come up with a fucking game plan to beat the defense?
Yeah.
Is what separates the big boys from.
There's nothing worse than when you have the information and you just can't apply it and you're doing it wrong anyway. And you're kind of like a sucker.
Okay, there he is. There's the old Jimmy.
cheating on a test and still flunking.
Yeah, exactly.
Still getting a C. So you still get yelled at by your parents. How come it wasn't a B?
You risk
I couldn't
everything.
see your paper because a B and a D looks the same from across an aisle. I wish I had that line back in the day.
Well, B and a D looks the same.
Same from across the aisle,
Very
and just admit that I
cheated.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you for not giving me the laugh and just being like, that's very funny.
Well, I was trying to be helpful.
Hey, thank you for coming. That felt like when I auditioned for a part. That was very good. Thank you for coming in.
Dude, I was bombing on an audition so bad one time. I fucked up so bad. I tried to do the brave thing of going, hey, can we start this over because I messed up. And the woman says, no, we'll just splice it together later. It was such a bombed audition.
No, but
she wouldn't let me restart.
But you also have such a specific look, as do I. Like back even, when I had fucking hair, when I came in, like you know, back when we had like black and white headshots.
Yeah.
My hair was dark enough that it looked like I had brown hair. So, in a lot of times in the beginning when people didn't know who I was and that I had red hair, I would come in for the lead and like they would literally be like, hey, and we're just going to do the first scene. And it was like, and I'm telling you, it was just literally like, it's like, that's not our guy.
They know immediately.
Yeah. So, some of that is like that. So I kind of learned to not take it personally. And then I actually, I found it funny that they were just like, yeah, you're a redhead, that we're not doing that. I always found it hilarious, but I also had like a stand-up career and always viewed acting as, this thing that I loved to do, but it was just so out of my control that I couldn't put a lot of I don't know. I don't know how like you those fucking like once you prove you're funny as a comedian and you're not an asshole and you're easy to work with. Like I go to the club, I sold tickets. You're gonna book me the next year. Like actors, they fucking go out and they win awards, and then they still gotta fucking call directors and come on, just give me a chance. I gotta like when Jim Carrey got Man on the Moon.
Yeah.
He was making $20 million a fucking movie, was like the biggest box office star, and he had to put himself on tape to get it. So like I have such a respect for like acting and all that shit. Like everybody thinks that they can do it and everything. It's like, really? Daniel Day-Lewis, like pretending to be fucking Abraham Lincoln for a year, learning that he had a high-pitched voice.
That's the craziest part of that whole thing, is figuring out like, oh, I know that you guys think this sounds funny, but I did the research. That's actually what his voice sounded like.
Oh, I mean, like that guy's acting. You know what I mean? Like there's different levels of it. Like I feel like my acting is like on the joke book level. Like, hey, two guys walk into a bar, you know what I mean? Like, I can tell a joke. I can do what you do, Jim. You know, like people who think that, you know, the people who are funny at the water bubble. And then there's actually, like, the one I always bring up is, what's his face? Anthony Hopkins. Where, like, when he played Hannibal Lecter, that would have ended most people's career. They never would have been able to see him as anything else. And then the very next one, he played like John Quincy Adams in Amistad, and he was fucking John Quincy Adams. There wasn't a shred of Hannibal Lecter. I totally believed it. It'd be like a Mel Blanc thing, where Mel Blanc, you couldn't hear any Bugs Bunny or Yosemite Sam in either one of those voices, and then when he talked, you didn't hear
any of them.
Yeah. And he's able to do that visually as you look at, like the way he holds his body and all of that shit. I remember DeRosa one time said he watched this thing on Travolta, and Travolta was just talking about the different walks. Going, okay, Vinnie Barbarino walked like this, Get Shorty walked like this, Vincent Vega walked like that. And it was just like, dude, he comes up with walks, and it's just like, that's right. And then I started thinking of my small acting career. It's like every character I ever played walked exactly the way I did. I feel this guy's a lot like me.
Well, you were good on Crashing.
I played myself.
Yeah, great. Good episode.
But then you have to find a woman that's going to put up with a guy who's acting like Abe Lincoln for a year. Like, how many fucking people will live with a guy?
Oh, you mean
like
in real life?
Abe Lincoln? Like, ugh.
What about when he did My Left Foot? She could have pushed him around the house for a whole fucking year.
He retired. I guess he got tired of it. It was just too much.
I would think so.
He's just done. Either that or he wants to sell this new movie. It's his last one. Maybe he'll come back and do another one.
Did anybody see that new movie? Isn't it the Paul Thomas Anderson movie?
I don't even know if it's out yet. Is it out?
I think it came out, but I just don't think it got any kind of wide release.
I don't know.
It's weird.
I don't know.
Oh,
but anyway, it's as long as there's people like that out there acting, like it just doesn't feel like, hey, you're a good actor. It's like compared to what?
Yeah. Yeah, there's always going to be.
I can sound believable.
Hey, what did you think of the Monique thing with coming out and complaining about like that they offered her $500,000 and then Wanda said they didn't offer her that? I don't know when they offered Wanda the money. The people complaining about what they're offering them for specials and thinking there's another reason behind it.
Yeah, that would be something that I would do the professional way, which is you go through your people,
your agent.
Yeah, but I also think that like nowadays where there's no due process in complaining on social media, it sort of appears if you complain, then you get what you want. So maybe that's why
it's the strategy.
She chose to do that. That's not how I would have done it.
No, me neither.
That's tacky. You got you don't fucking say how much your money and how much money this other person's making and all of that shit. That's something you say, you say to them, and then, but you always got to walk away friends. You can't, like in business, you can't take any of it fucking personal. Like that first offer they're going to slide across the table is going to be the biggest fuck over ever for you. And they're great. And that's just negotiating tactic, page one.
Sure.
I'm going to ask for a zillion miles an hour, a zillion miles, I'm sorry, in the other direction. So when we meet in the middle, I'm going to get as much as I want. But like, when you're a younger person, you take that like, or if you're inexperienced, you take it personally, like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
They're going to give me new sneakers for a special? That's it, you don't take it, you don't take it personal.
Yeah, they do. They will lowball you at first. It is the first humiliating.
They should.
They don't respect you. Yeah, they'd be stupid.
They should. That's what you're supposed to do. And then you're going to ask for way more than you think you're going to give them. And then somewhere you meet in the middle, and then you deliver a good special, and eventually. But what happens is then if you're not an asshole through that process, and they enjoy working with you, and then you give them a good product, they want to keep working with you, and then you actually become friends with them. And then it does get easier. But like calling them out, I love Monique. I think she's amazing. And she won a fucking Oscar. She's incredible. But like, that's not the way I would have done it.
Right. Yeah. No, my manager, he's not a big negotiator. It's usually the first offer good.
He likes
in a
to
second.
take that first offer.
Every year the industry votes her manager of the year. They're like, yeah, that's not a good thing. They should kind of hate you on
They
some
should
level.
hate your manager or be afraid of them, not mine.
Yeah.
They love him.
They like him.
Oh, love him.
Oh, good.
The greatest. Every time I meet them, they're like, he's such a great guy. I'm like, yeah, I know, I've heard.
Good. It's
He's
good
a
to
good
know.
egg.
Did you watch, did you watch Chris Rock's special, or do you not really watch other people's specials?
I haven't watched it yet, but I'm excited to see it.
It's good.
Yeah.
It gets,
That's what I heard.
second half gets like, he starts getting into his personal stuff, and it's really good. Really, really good.
Yeah, well, that guy has always done the work. You know?
How many years since he put one out? Like 6 years? 5
They
years?
said 10. 10.
10 years.
Oh,
Wow.
he's mastered like that whole, like, he just knows how to do that. Like, not, just be out of it for a second. And right as everybody's like, hey, what's he up to? Bam.
He puts out a special.
Yeah, Beastie Boys were like that. You'd be like, right, they did, when they had an album coming out, they were just everywhere, and you got the album, and it was awesome, and they did the tour, and then they would just go away. And it was always right as I would thinking, like, hey, man, those guys going to put out another album? Bam! And then they were back, and then that's, you don't get sick of them. And you're, like, excited. It's those people that are just constantly out there, you start thinking, oh my God, I'm getting tired of this person. So
It's like Boston. Remember Boston put out the one great album? You're like, they're never going to do anything else. And like 10 years later, they put out their second album. You're like, what?
no, it was third. They put out 2.
Oh, they put out 2 at first?
Yeah, they put out 2, and then they finally, after Burner, was that a ZZ Top one? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I never liked Boston.
No.
The group? No.
I liked that first album, and then one summer, my buddy had it on cassette tape, and he drove almost every weekend and just kept playing that fucking tape, and I to this, like, it's been almost 30 years, and I think I could finally listen to it. Like, they just wore it the fuck out.
And you were finished.
I was finished with that band, yeah. And it has nothing to do with the band or the quality, because I think amazing musicianship, and it is a great fucking album, but like, more than a feeling. Oh my God.
Can't do it. Never
They
liked
were
it.
just another band out of Boston. I was just like, can we fucking listen to something else?
When I first started driving, when I was in like high school, I had like one CD that at that point it was like a mix CD that I'd burned. And it was like those 14 songs or whatever. I can't listen to any of them anymore. It's been 20 years. I can't listen to any of them because I just played them all the time.
Do you know, I've listened to Led Zeppelin so much that I think at this point, like 10 times I've had to take like a 2-year break from listening, because I'd listened to every single album. I played drums and stuff, and was absolutely obsessed with John Bonham. And I bought all the sheet music, all the drum music to all of this shit. And just like, at some point, I had to walk. It's like the guys in Zeppelin aren't even listening to this shit this much.
Yeah.
I mean, they've moved on to other music. And I would always look at Robert Plant. He was always like trying different stuff, country album, or with Alison Krauss and all this type of stuff. But I'm just like, he is continuing to move forward, and I am stuck in Physical Graffiti like 1975. However, I do still love all that music.
That he wouldn't even want to talk to you about it if you had the chance. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't like to talk about it. He doesn't like to.
He's
do
done
that.
with it. He's just done with Zeppelin. They were great. He was happy, and he's moved on. He just plus, it's hard for singers; they can't hit the notes anymore. So you don't want to be reminded of what you used to be able to do. That you can't probably do now live.
Well, because those guys actually would sing. Nowadays, people like sing along with tracks and stuff. I remember Anthony a long time ago was busting his Robert Plant's chops, and it's just like I didn't know it at the time.